Bam! Welcome to the Don't Get Fooled show with Big Ree and Ace. NFL Week 17. All right, boys and girls, I want to start off the show by thanking all the viewers, the subscribers, by giving us our feedback and our likes. Last video, last week I tossed out about, membership for the channel, and we're going to add more content, and got a lot of comments, a lot of DMs, and so a lot of good feedback. We took notes. And one thing I just want to clear up on the membership talk and stuff is, like, we're not selling picks. Let me make that clear. We're not trying to sell picks, and we're not one of those phony fraudsters, and there's a lot of them out there on that note. I mean, it's unbelievable. All we're trying to do is add some kind of membership to the channel, so that allows us, me and Big Ree, to put out a lot more content, meaning analysis in the sports world, breaking news, live call-in shows, more picks, more over and unders, more teasers, more props, add basketball, college, and NBA as well. And I kind of touched on that last week, as that's actually our better sport. And somebody actually DM'd me and said, well, why don't you guys ever do NBA? You guys are not doing NBA. And kind of to touch on that real quickly and briefly, as when me and Big Ree started the channel over 6 years ago, almost 7 years, we were like, hey, it was honestly just a hobby. Like, we're really good at picking games, and that was kind of big when that Superbook contest was out, and a lot of those big contests where you pick 5 games a week, and we were already doing really well on that on our own. So we're like, okay, let's just start our own channel, and we'll start putting out our picks. So that's kind of how it started, and it was easy for us to just do NFL, and we actually started off just with NFL, because just once a week we could just do it. Then we added college in, and that was once a week also. And NBA is a little bit different, because first of all, there's games every single day, and the lines don't come out until the morning. And so that's kind of what caused some issues. We're like, hey, we're gonna have to do this every day. It's gonna take up a lot of hours every single day. We just can't do it. And so we just continued with NFL and college. And we've been doing that for the last 6 years, not charging anybody, not getting any fees. And so now that's kind of where the membership talk, where look, we can really take this full time and really help out the viewers, make cash, enjoy the show, put some entertainment out there. And so I just want to make it clear, we are not selling picks. Let's get into a recap of last week. Last week was a good week, but a very, just a lot of games going down to the wire, right? I mean, we'll start off with Jacksonville versus the Jets. That was one of the picks. The Jaguars covered. They were +1. They won 19-3. Just really beat up on the Jets. Just a boring game, honestly. Zach Wilson got benched again. That guy's time is basically done in New York, unless he decides he wants to just be a backup and take minimal money. But he's done. I called this. And I'll look back on one of our draft videos that we put out. I said this guy was going to be a bust when they drafted him. But on that note, I do give some of the blame to the Jets organization. Like, some of these young quarterbacks, especially them coming out of schools like BYU, you got to give them time to develop. You're just throwing them into the fire, and these guys are not ready. Like, this guy clearly was not ready. He has some talent. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but he's not ready to be a starter. And I think some of these rookie quarterbacks, even like Baker falls in that, and some of these other guys, Sam Darnold, like, you got to give them some time to develop before they become starters. I would say at least a year. But, they're drafting them so high. They're paying them a lot of money. The organizations want them to play right away, but I feel like you got to look more long term than just the short term. That's my thoughts on that. Then we have the Bills versus the Bears. The Bills won 35-13, but that was actually a close game. It was 21-13 at one point late in the game, and so don't let that score fool you. The Bears played well. Look, Josh Allen played serviceable. He had 2 interceptions again, but they got the W. They ended up winning big, and so they're on a roll. Justin Fields, I'll talk about that later on, but he did get hurt in that game. He was replaced at one point by Peterman, and so he's not 100% healthy. The Saints beat the Browns 17-10. Good win for the Saints. Browns, honestly, Deshaun Watson not looking that impressive, to be honest, and the run game's not looking good. So Browns got a lot to fix. We had this in one of the teasers, over 26.5, so that hit. That was a nice pick there. Chiefs 24-10 over Seattle. Look, I think the score looks like they really blowed them out. Seattle, went for it on fourth down multiple times at the end. But I will admit, I was not a fan of Seattle at the beginning of the season. And then, Big Ree was a big fan the whole time of Seattle and Geno Smith. And I'll be honest, I got fooled by Big Ree. I got fooled by them. Right after that, I was like, oh, these guys are actually solid. And ever since I was kind of on their bandwagon, they went 1-5. And I should have stuck with my gut that these guys were not a good team. But look, Chiefs got the win. Vikings 27-24 versus the Giants. Nothing to really talk about that game. Vikings are rolling, but I don't know. They have a really good record, but I don't know how good of a team they are. Bengals 22-18 versus the Patriots. This is one of my picks. I had the Patriots plus 3.5. This was 22-0 at half. You kind of just waved the white flag already. You threw it in. Then these guys went on a run in the second half. They looked really good. And then they had it first and goal on the 4-yard line of Bengals with maybe two minutes left in the game. And I'm like, okay, this looks good. This could go. They could actually cover and win this game. And right when I said that, literally I was actually watching this game with Javi, and right when I said that, these guys, first and goal on the 4, they fumble. And my luck, right? I already threw this one in, and then it looked like they were actually going to come back, win, and cover, but didn't happen. But, I'll give them credit for that second half. Look, Joe Burrow, he played great in the first half. Great. Played really bad in the second half. So, look, I don't know what's going on with them. Early on, they were playing really bad in the first half, then playing crap in the second half. So, but look, Joe Burrow had a good game. Panthers 37-23 over the Lions. I do not know what happened in this game. The Lions were a hot pick, and Panthers just ran all over Detroit. I think they had 320 yards rushing, and nobody expected this. I mean, you could expect that maybe Panthers would win, but not in this fashion. And so congrats to them. Maybe they can still sneak out the division. Maybe. Probably not, but you never know. Ravens 17-9 versus the Falcons. That was one of our picks, under 37. This hit easily. And, not much to talk about on this game, but one interesting tidbit is the final score was 17-9 on a Fanduel exact scoring, prop here. We had 17-6, 140-1 on that. And they scored a field goal in the last 2 minutes to break that. But that would have been a nice, juicy payout right there for us. But 17-9 there. This is the game I really want to discuss. Texans 19-14 versus the Titans. I had this pick as a survivor pick, as a pick during the week video, in the parlay, and in a money line play. And so first I want to make it clear that I had them -7. I made this pick before they announced that Tannehill was done for the season and out. This was recorded last Monday, and so that's why I really like them. So if they had Tannehill, they would have won and covered for sure. No doubt about it. I still believe that. They almost won with Malik Willis there. They were up 14-10 and, with 5-6 minutes left in the fourth. But so that was a problem. I had Tannehill. Honestly, I still thought they would win with Malik Willis at QB. But covering and stuff, that's different. But when we made the video, I had it, everything was based. I was very confident with Tannehill there. But, that's what happens. We film early, and then there's injury reports, stuff happens. So, bad play there. One of the viewers said, hey, don't put all your eggs in one bucket there. You never double dip. And, I agree there. That was a mistake that I didn't realize that I had them as a survivor, as a pick, parlay, and a teaser. So that was my fault. I'll take responsibility there. But they lost. They should have still won, honestly. But whatever, they did lose. Bad pick there because of Tannehill not playing. The Niners 37-20. They continuing to roll with Brock Purdy. I was getting a lot of crap that I'm not giving Purdy and the Niners credit. I'll give the Niners credit. Their defense is legit. I'm still I'm still not sold on Purdy. He's been playing well. I'll give him credit. He's been playing well, but I'm not sold on him just yet. He's playing the Raiders, and I cannot wait for that game. The popcorn, the wings are going to be ready for, and the pizza is going to be ready for that game. I'll tell you that much, and we'll see what happens there. But super excited about that game. Cowboys beat the Eagles without Hurts, didn't play. Gardner Minshew, he looked pretty good, 355 yards, but he did have 2 interceptions. It was a really good game to watch. But the Cowboys came back, won that game. Steelers 13-10, another one of the games that I had at the Raiders +2 there, and they were up 10-6. And then, Steelers got a last touchdown the last minute, literally in the last minute with like 48 seconds or something to win and cover. But, Raiders have no excuses. They were up 7-0. They scored early on in the first quarter, and then that's it. 3 points the rest of the game. What do you expect? Steelers missed a few field goals, and, Raiders, honestly, they didn't play well. So look, I did lose at the last minute, but Raiders didn't play well. Steelers, they won, but I'm still not high on them, and you guys will see as I have them in one of the picks this week. Packers, they beat up on the Dolphins. That was a good game. Packers won against the Dolphins. Aaron Rodgers looked good. Rams beat down of the Denver 51-14. Unbelievable. Led to the firing of Coach Hackett today. Just embarrassing. I mean, I don't know. You lose by, 37 points and just embarrassing. But that's how the season been for the Broncos. And then Buccaneers, they squeaked out a win 19-16 versus the Cardinals. And, they were down 16-6 late in the fourth, came back and then won in overtime. But that's a recap of last week. Let's get into the BS segment of the week, boys and girls. First of all, I want to say that it looks like there's some really bad snowstorms and blizzards out on the East Coast. So I know a lot of the viewers are tuning in from the East Coast. Hope everybody is, safe and staying warm. I mean, it's crazy. I'm hearing people are getting stranded in their cars, and there's no electricity, so there's no heater. So this is no joke. So, no joke. I did have a Costco story, I'm going to probably have to save it for next time, but, quickly, Costco is no joke. I don't know if they were, I'm sure they have Costco's all over the country, but Costco, you got to be careful, first of all, if you go into Costco. So if you're not careful, the tab at Costco could be in the hundreds, easy. But Costco's got a lot of good stuff. I actually went in there last minute to get some gifts on Thursday. And, they did not actually let me complete the checkout because I was using my brother's card. And anyhow, they gave me a lot of nonsense. But anyhow, they got fooled. They tried to fool me at the beginning, but not letting me use the card. And they got fooled. But I'll get into that story next time, with Big Ree here, when he comes back, and we'll get into that. So I'm not going to go too much into the BS talk, but that was a good story. And needless to say, the story ended in a good note for Ace, but we'll get into that story next week. The new year is coming up, boys and girls. 2023. Want to wish everybody a happy new year. And on that note, want to talk about New Year's resolutions. I don't know if you guys or the viewers have a New Year's resolution, or even every year do that. I do it every year. Every year, I take a little notepad and I write in small writing my New Year's resolutions. And why I put it on the notepad, first of all, is so I can keep it in my wallet. And from time to time, I can check up on it and see am I keeping my New Year's resolutions or any of my goals for the year. How am I doing and progressing? I think everybody has the classic, want to get in shape and lose some weight, join a gym. That's always on the list for me is, I set a goal of, a gym goal and a workout goal and losing a certain weight. This was a good year. I think I did well on, my New Year's resolution on the weight. And so I want to keep that momentum going, and I feel like I will for next year. Obviously business goals, things like that. I think we definitely hit our resolution. Me and Big Ree wanted to hit 10,000 subscribers this year. we did that. So thank you all to the viewers and subscribers that hit the subscribe button. Big deal for us. Viewership went up big this year, and we continue, we did a lot of upgrades on the show, and we'll continue to do that next year. And so cannot wait. I think 2023 is going to be a really good year. Can't wait for Big Reed to get back so we can discuss a lot of the New Year stuff. I haven't been bothering him on his vacation. When he's on vacation, kind of keeping the contact to minimal, let him enjoy the vacations. I don't want to be bothered on my vacation. Just want to enjoy my time. But I did hear he should be back in a few days. And I was hoping that, he'll be on the college football video, part 2, episode 2. We dropped episode 1 last week. We'll drop episode 2 this week on Thursday. So we'll see. Hopefully he can be on it. Not sure yet. And I'll touch bases when he gets back in town. But for the question of the day, I want the viewers to comment. I want to hear some New Year's resolutions for everybody. I'm sure some people have some private ones, but anything that you're comfortable with public, or any goals or anything, chime in. As I said, one of my big goals is for the show to grow and for us to put out content. Honestly, I want to put out content at least 5 times a week. So want to really grow to NBA, want to grow to college basketball, breaking news, and just a lot of sports analysis, and just have a show on random stuff and just keep that going on a daily basis. So that's one of the big goals here. And so hopefully with the help of the community and the DGF family, we're going to make that happen. 2023 going big, boys and girls. So cannot wait. It's going to be a juicy, juicy year. But comment below, boys and girls, which a New Year's resolution or something you guys want to accomplish. We do our best to reply to all the comments, but we read all of them. So look forward to that. Let's get into some shout outs this week for the viewers. Gonna give a shout out to Reagan Williamson from Mobile, Alabama. Second shout out goes to Marvin Kyer from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Third shout out goes to Miguel Hernandez. Want to give a shout out to Dwight Jones, aka Choker Jones from South Carolina. Shout out to David Deitch from the Bay Area up north in California. Want to give a shout out to Morgan Evans. They commented and wanted us to recap, at the end of the show, the picks. So that's some notes that we're taking, and we'll try to incorporate that as soon as possible. Shout out to Daniel Ponce from Alabama. Shout out to Alabama. We got a lot of viewers and subscribers from Alabama. Shout out to Gloria K from Chicago, Illinois. Shout out to John X from Ottawa, Ontario. Shout out to Billy Jack from Texarkana, Arkansas. 11, want to give a shout out to Aaron from Key West, Florida. And the last shout out, I want to give a shout out to Spooner Steve and his wife Linda from Clifton, New Jersey. Guess his wife Linda is having some health issues, some issue with the eye, and want to send out some well wishes to Linda. Hope you feel better and you get a fast and full recovery. We're thinking about you. Let's get into Survivor pick. We got the Los Angeles Rams versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Survivor pick here is the Chargers. I know the Rams had a really good win last week. Baker Mayfield, Akers look good, but I'm rolling with the Chargers. They got more to play with, and I like them to win this. They're going to be at home. Obviously, both teams are technically playing at home at SoFi, and so Survivor pick is the Los Angeles Chargers. All right, without further ado, here we go, boys and girls. Aquí vamos, chicos y chicas. Let's go. Game 1. We got the Arizona Cardinals at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are a 3.5-point favorite. Arizona coming off a 19-16 overtime loss to Tampa Bay. This was an interesting and fun game to watch, actually. Sloppy, but it was a fun game to watch. It was, good game. Cardinals led 16-6 in the fourth quarter. They ended up blowing that lead, and then it went to overtime, and Tampa Bay won with a game-winning field goal. They are currently on a 5-game losing streak, and they've lost 7 of their last 8 games. With Colt McCoy and McSorley at quarterback, these guys are only averaging 16 points per game. Those two combined have 1 touchdown and 7 interceptions on the season, so they're not looking good. And honestly, the run game is not much better. They've only produced 1 100-yard game on the season. Then we got Atlanta 5-10. They're coming off a 17-9 loss to Baltimore, and I forgot earlier, Arizona is 4-11. Atlanta, quarterback Desmond Ridder, the rookie quarterback out of Cincinnati, actually played better than expected. 22 for 33, 218 yards, 0 touchdowns, but 0 interceptions. They actually outgained Baltimore 327 to 299. They rushed for 115 yards against that, third-ranked run defense of Baltimore. They are currently on a 4-game losing streak, and they have also lost 6 of the last 7. So both of these teams are not playing well as of late. But here's my thoughts in this game. Atlanta, 4 of their last 6 games have been on the road, and they haven't given up over 25 points in their last 7 games. And they're playing, honestly, a doozy of an opponent here with Arizona and these backup quarterbacks. McCoy might play, who knows, it depends here, but, and here's the thing, they're going up against a much worse team, and they're playing at home than they did last week against Baltimore. And look, Desmond Ridder in his first 2 starts, he played the 2 top 10 defenses in New Orleans and Baltimore. I like Atlanta. They're at home. Arizona, just not playing well. Neither of the teams are playing well. Could be a toilet bowl kind of game here, but I like Atlanta here. And so I'm taking Atlanta minus 3.5, game 2. We got the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are a 5.5-point favorite. Chicago 3-12, coming off a 35-13 loss to Buffalo. They got outgained 426 to 209, 20-11 on first downs. They are currently on an 8-game losing streak, and they've lost 11 of their last 12 games. Here's the thing, Justin Fields is not healthy. If you watch that game, he didn't look healthy. He had some shoulder issues that's been lingering on. Then he hurt his foot. He actually left the game at one point. He only ran 7 times in that game, and I think that's a big deal here. Seriously, and out of the 7 road games, they've had 7 road games, they're 1-6, and out of 5 of the 6 losses been by 7 points or more. So they don't play well on the road, and with Justin Fields hurt, it doesn't look good for these guys. Then we got Detroit 7-8. They're coming off a 37-23 loss to Carolina. They gave up 570 yards and 320 yards on the ground. They were on a roll. They've won 6 of their last 7 prior to this game versus Carolina. Quarterback Jared Goff, this guy is playing really good. 3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, 64.5% completion rate, 14 touchdowns, only 1 interception over the last 8 games for Goff. The problem is they do have the dead last, defense in the league, dead last. And here's my thoughts. Detroit has more to play for. They are at home. I think this will be pretty close, but I think the difference here is that Fields is, look, Bears are a bad team already. And you got Fields, if he's not healthy, he's got a foot injury. I was reading that he could barely put full weight on his foot after last game. He's not going to be explosive on the run on the ground as he normally has been. And I think that's going to be the difference there. It stays close. I like, Detroit to pull away. And I'm taking Detroit minus 5.5. All right, game 3. We got the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are a 13.5-point favorite here. Denver 4-11, coming off a 51-14 loss to the Rams. Just a good old spanking by the Rams. You know, they had 4 turnovers. They looked like crap. The team was dysfunctional. When you have one of the top 5 defenses and you give up 51 points, this is embarrassing. And I think the management took notice of this and they fired Coach Nathaniel Hackett today. Breaking news. And honestly, it was the right decision. First of all, I'll say this. He should have never been hired. Never been hired. Seriously, this guy was, a coordinator under LaFleur at Green Bay for a few years. Look, he should have never been hired, and this is a problem. Some of these guys, they start hiring these coaches, they don't have enough experience, or they just make the wrong decision, and they're not really hiring these guys based on their coaching, and just there's other factors. And Denver deserves this. They should never hire this guy. It's a joke, some of these hirings that happen in the NBA, NFL. Honestly, if this is the case, I should start interviewing for some of these jobs. Because I can definitely be qualified for this. It's a joke. And honestly, I would say back to game 1 when Denver played Seattle. And if you recall, it was 4th and 4. And in the fourth quarter, they were down 17-16. And they decided to kick a 64-yard field goal at the end instead of going for it on 4th and 4. And I think that was already a telltale that there was already controversy. You can't do that. But it's like, it's just game 1, whatever. He made questionable decisions against the Colts. There was multiple things where you're scratching your head. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, what coach? They're making the decision. And look, I think they need a reset. And I feel like this will be a reset. Kind of like last year, Urban Meyer and Jacksonville. It was a complete lost season. Everybody looked like crap. Lawrence looked like crap. They turned it around. I think they will turn it around, and I think they'll be much better. They'll make the playoffs next year, but it had to be done. Denver last week they let Baker Mayfield and Cam Akers look like Patrick Mahomes and Nick Chubb. That's how bad it was. Denver 2-10 over their last 12 games. Jerry Jeudy's playing well. That's a positive note as of late. Russ got actually benched last week. He had 3 interceptions. But he is expected to start this week, and especially with the interim coaching, he'll definitely start. Hopefully, he'll be a little bit more motivated, have some moxie in him. Here's the thing: they have not lost by over 13 points all season long, and the spread here is 13.5. Kansas City 12-3. They're coming off a 24-10 win versus Seattle, but honestly, not impressed with this victory. Seattle went for it multiple times on 4th down, in the second half, so they could have put up some points, but they were actually trying to win. And that shows because Seattle actually outgained Kansas City 333 to 297 here. They outgained them in first downs. And so, look, I'm not impressed with this win. They are on a 3-game winning streak here. They've won 8 of their last 9 for Kansas City. Mahomes is playing great, 4,700 yards, 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 67% completion. He's playing like he normally does. But my thoughts are, I like this to be a low-scoring game. I think this is a 24-14 win for Kansas City, maybe 24-17 Kansas City. But either way, I like Kansas City to win, but I like Denver to cover here. So I'm taking Denver plus 13.5, and I like the under here. The under is set at 45.5. I think Denver plays much better here. Their defense shows up, and so I'm taking the under 45.5. All right, game 4 here, but the 5th pick we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are a 3-point favorite. Pittsburgh 7-8. Coming off a 13-10 win versus the Las Vegas Raiders. As I said, this is one of my picks last week, and they snuck it out at the end in the last minute, but that's what happens. Look, as I said earlier, sloppy game, really sloppy game. They had a lot of errors. I think they missed 2 field goals, and they just but they did squeak out the win for Pittsburgh, so a W is a W. They have won 5 of their last 7 games. Their defense is looking good. I'll give the defense looking credit over the last 7 games. They have not given up over 17 points in 6 of those 7 games. So defense is doing their part. Quarterback Kenny Pickett, he's a rookie quarterback. He's shown flashes. But I think this guy, look, I wasn't high on him when he got drafted. I think if he can clean up his mistakes and, turnovers, I think this guy could play well. But you can say that about a lot of these young quarterbacks. The turnovers are, the key. But he's shown flashes. Look, he's shown flashes, even though he's gotten, I think, 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the season. But he has shown flashes, and I think he's definitely capable. Then Baltimore, 10-5, coming off a 17-9 win versus Atlanta. The defense continues to play well. The offense is struggling without Lamar Jackson. Huntley is just being serviceable. But the run game is looking good. But look, the offense needs Lamar back. Coach Harbaugh is not saying if he's going to play, but I'm pretty sure he's playing. I'm pretty sure he's going to play this week, and so I expect him to play, and I'm banking my pick on him playing. And I like the defense to have some big plays and turnovers against, the rookie quarterback Pickett on the road versus Baltimore. And this is my lock of the week here, boys and girls. I'm taking Baltimore -3. All right, I got a teaser play for the boys and girls, and as I said earlier, just throwing some stuff in for fun, trying some stuff out. But as we, go full time and we add more content and stuff, there's going to be a lot more of this for the boys and girls. This is a 4-team, 6-point teaser. Game 1, we got the Chargers versus the Rams. The Chargers are -6.5. We're moving the line, and it'll be Chargers -0.5. Second game, we got Jaguars versus Houston. The over is set at 43 with a 6-point teaser. The over 37, we're taking over 37. Game 3, we got Minnesota versus Green Bay. Minnesota is +3. We're moving the line to Minnesota +9. All right, game 4. We got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are +5 in this game. We're moving the line to Raiders +11. So this is a 4-team, 6-point teaser. You put $10 on this, you'll win 25 to collect 35. So this is 2.5 on your money. I really like this 6-point teaser here. So get your tickets in, boys and girls. It's going to be a juicy weekend, and we'll drop college football bowl game special episode 2 on Thursday. All right, boys and girls.